What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and a couple things I wanted to talk about. I did this whole video this morning where I basically discussed NXT, and I deleted it because I did not like the way I sounded in the video. I will tell you this: I did not get to watch all of NXT last night. Still haven't watched all the NXT No Mercy PLE. Had a really bad internet connection where I was last night, so that's that's the downfall of streaming as my phone goes off there. Um, Let's see if I can't put that on vibrate. There we go. All right. So, um, I did not get to see all of it. Poor internet connection. Streaming just sucks that way. So I want to hit the highlights of what I saw. I saw Kalani Jordan versus Wendy Chu, and thought that match right there, man. That crowd. First off, the crowd was dead for it. The crowd could care less. They would have gotten a better reception, or wouldn't have gotten a better reception even if they took their tops off. That crowd was just stupid. Um, I will say though that there was a lot of timing issues in the match. All of them. I mean, I like Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu is phenomenal. She was carrying Kalani Jordan throughout that whole match, I thought. And I thought the wrong person won. I feel like since Wendy Chu returned, they have done a little bit with her, and I felt like in order to get her up to that next plateau, she needs to win a title. Um, but overall, the match was just a dud for me. And I hate saying that about a Wendy Chu match, but the timing, the overall, just there's a reason why they call this developmental. But there you go. I just hope they have better plans for Wendy Chu going forward because I don't like the heel Wendy Chu. I don't like the nightmare Wendy Chu. I wish the old Wendy Chu would come back, but that remains to be seen. So who knows? We may get that old Wendy Chu one day. I think the old Wendy Chu would translate to a main roster better than the current one. I feel like Wendy Chu versus Tiffany Stratton. You had the old they could reignite their rivalry that they had during the NXT 2.0 days, and which was great. I I absolutely love those vignettes and the rivalry itself. Um, I did get to see the women's title match between Miss Jada Parker. Hi, Miss Parker. Anyway, um, golly, those Friday movies rule. Hi, Miss Parker. But I actually love this match. Jada Parker worked her ass off. She definitely elevated herself. Um, Roxanne Perez did a lot to elevate Jada Parker in this match as well. I do think that Jada Parker has a little bit to go before she's main roster worthy. I think she needs at least another year or two of seasoning. She needs to break out on her own. She needs to work on her promos. But overall, last night, I don't have a bad thing to say about that match. That match was awesome. And then after the match, Julia debuts. Now, in the video that I since deleted, I said something that was the main reason why I didn't release the video. Um, in that a lot of people are going to be asking, who is this woman? And why is it a white woman that doesn't speak English? That's going to be a lot of people's, even though there's a lot of white people around the world that don't speak English. But I'm going to put a photo up here of this, and I let me go find it. Hold on, let me see here, because I wanted to look at it again myself. Hold on. So I found the photo. There it is. Could she look at Ava? Ava's smiling. Shawn Michaels with the Google eye is smiling. Julia just looks like she would rather be anywhere else. She looks like it looks like a photo that when you're 16 and you're forced to take a photo with your mom and dad at like an amusement park or something, or she looks embarrassed to be there. Like here, I'm with my mom and dad, and they're making me take this corny pic, and ugh, get me out of here, you know. Sorry, my the computer in my truck decided to tell me how many hours I'm gaining back tomorrow. Anyway, but yeah, it looks like a she's. It looks like a I'm embarrassed by my mom and dad picture. Yeah, so I feel like they could have taken a better picture. She could have smiled, but this Julia. She's born. She has a Japanese mother and an Italian father, and she grew up in Japan. So her English, she does speak English, but it's very hard to understand sometimes. If you ever watched Asuka, her YouTube channel, the Kanachan.tv, um, it's about as good as Asuka's English is. So who knows? Maybe they'll let her cut promos, maybe she won't. But from what I saw of her, she kicks ass in the ring. From what I've seen of her, she's very charismatic. She looks great. She looked absolutely awesome last night, debuting. Um, I want to move on now to the main event: Joe Hendry versus Ethan Page. Trick Williams is a guest referee. Now, y'all know my opinion of Joe Hendry, and I'll reiterate it for those who don't know. I find him to be very, very basic. Without that theme song and without him singing and dancing and everything, he's nothing. From a wrestling standpoint, he's basic. From a ring gear standpoint, he's basic. From a body standpoint, he's basic. How many times do I got to tell people what quit getting enamored in stupid stuff? You know, getting the song charted on the British iTunes charts or whatever. So that tells you all you need to know. That tells you all you need to know right there when the British folk are getting behind this guy. Yes, he's from Scotland. Yes, he's from over in that neck of the woods, so they're going to support him. But without that song, he's nothing. And you take away the song and just have Joe Hendry walking out, basic blue and silver trunks, basic haircut, smile, basic body, and basic in-ring work. I know, everybody has stupid Mark Joe White. Here we go again. Stupid Mark Joe White. Get in the ring, Joe White. Joe Hendry kicked Joe White's ass and sing over his dead body. Stop. Just stop. I don't care. I'm entitled to have an opinion. I watched the show. I thought the match was okay. I liked the ending of the match. And now I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe that Joe Hendry can go and sit his ass on Thursdays where nobody's watching. That's what I believe. You know, I said this from the very start of this relationship with TNA that it's not going to help TNA. And it hasn't. Yes, a few people have appeared on the TNA show, but they're all NXT mid-carders. And except for William Regal's kid, he has potential. But it's not like you're seeing Ethan Page pop up over there. It's not like you're going to see a Trick Williams popping up over there. I said this from the very beginning. It's gonna hurt TNA more than it's gonna help them, and it has. It absolutely has. Now, if Joe Hendry would have won the title last night, which would have upset me greatly, then maybe you can make an argument of okay, he's gonna be appearing. We got an Omega situation, blah 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 blah. You know, but again, let me know in the prove me wrong. Let me know in the comments. Who is this relationship benefit? Certainly not TNA. And NXT's ratings have been kind of stagnant and kind of the same as always. So it hasn't really helped NXT at all. Except from a standpoint of this is just this whole thing, this whole entire experiment for the last few months has been nothing more than a giant talent scouting session for Shawn Michaels and the NXT group. That's it. And I feel like last night was probably Joe Hendry's swan song for now. Thank God, because there's a lot better, people in TNA that deserve that type of attention that aren't as basic. That's all I'm saying. I'm not on the bandwagon at all. They say, what's in a name? What's in a song? You want to be a singer? Go be a singer. Work on your ring gear. Work on your ring gear, because I'm a big ring gear mark. You guys know that. If your ring gear sucks, if you're in there wearing basic bull crap, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm no fashionista myself. I'll walk around wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt during the summer. Hello pot on kettle, but still, work on your ring gear. Work on more than just your stupid entrance in your song. Because once the bell rings, you're basic. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments below. But guess what? You can't. Because you take away that entrance, you take away that stupid song. What have you got? What have you got? Somebody who's just basic and not over. Hell, Trick Williams in a referee position last night looked better, acted better, and was more of a star than Joe Hendry was, and Hendry's wrestling for the goddamn title. There you go. Maple Leaf Wrestling. Let's talk about Maple Leaf Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, speaking of TNA, Scott D'Amore at the beginning of this year was ousted from TNA Wrestling. He was going to try to buy it, and that offer was refused because Anthem still wants to hold it for whatever reason. So Scott D'Amore, as of October, can apparently, he was living off the paychecks, the non-compete paychecks, for a while, for the last 10 months. And now he's starting off up Border City Wrestling, or Maple Leaf Wrestling, excuse me. He turned Border City Wrestling into Maple Leaf Wrestling up there in Toronto. A couple things. Josh Alexander versus Konosuke Takeshita. God, easier for me to say. No wonder they call him Take a Shit. That match actually has potential. I'll say that just because it's Josh Alexander. The former Jinder Mahal is going to be on the show. Looking forward to seeing that. I'm actually might buy this. The only thing that they got Mauro Ranallo doing commentary, and I got a feeling D'Amore and all them, they better watch out, because we know that at the first sign of any criticism for Scott D'Amore, Scott D'Amore gets on there and reads Twitter, and he gets quote unquote, I hate this word, quote unquote triggered, and the bipolarism flares up, and he runs and hides. This is a guy who has a condition that prevents him from taking constructive criticism or even non-constructive criticism. He proved that time and time again with WWE. NXT, he got moved up to the main roster. He read Twitter. He went back down to NXT. He read Twitter, and then he was gone. The guy can't take criticism. It triggers the ever-loving F out of him, to the point where he feels like he needs to run away to his safe space and hide. Now, that's not targeting anybody with a mental illness. But if you know something is going to trigger you, if you know you're going to get into something that is going to be criticized, granted, this is on a much smaller level, but if you're getting into something that is going to put you in the public domain, that is going to get you criticized, good and bad, and if you know you can't take it, you either need to find some therapy, maybe even a little bit of medication, or you need to just stay away, man. You need to just stay away. Now, I watched a little trailer for it, for Maple Leaf Wrestling, and it was a good trailer. They showed a lot of old Canada footage, old Maple Leaf Wrestling footage, hammered in there with some new stuff. But I mean, I think they got El Phantasma on the card. Whoopee. But I just they got Trevor Lee on the card too. I'm curious to see what Trevor Lee's going to do. I'm curious to see because I'm a Trevor Lee fan. Um, for those who don't know, the Trevor Lee, the former Cameron Grimes, and if you're spent any time on this channel, you know what a fan of that guy I am. Just based off his work in the now defunct CWF Mid Atlantic. Um, and I like the fact that Trevor has done cut his hair. He's cut the beard off to him, cut the beard down. He looks lean. He looks 10 years younger without that long hair and that beard. But I'm curious to see who he's going to face on these shows. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you going to be ordering this off Triller TV? I think I might. Because I support Scott D'Amore. I think the TNA era under Scott D'Amore was probably the best, at last year and the year before were probably some of the best years TNA's had. And right when it picked up the momentum, and right when he said, "Hey, I want to spend some money on this," oh nope, you're gone. This is what I'm going to reiterate it. I've said this many times about TNA. And people go, "You should support TNA. They're good wrestling." Why should I support a company that doesn't want to support itself? Why should I support a company that's owned by a bunch of people that just don't give a damn? And hey, you should support the wrestlers. You support the art. You support the. Okay, I support wrestlers, no doubt about it. But to me, if the company doesn't want to help themselves and they're just there treading water, then they're just there taking paychecks. They could go out there and put half the effort in there and still make the same amount of money, and the company would still care the same amount, which is zero. You got to want to help yourself. And they don't want to help themselves. They've said it. They don't want to spend money. They don't want a new TV deal. They don't want to make themselves look good. Anyway, folks, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below, and we will see you down the road.